Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to talk about panoramic X-ray symmetry and premolar root agenesis and orthodontic implications from that. Now, I do not have a very great X-ray to show you. I see maybe like one a month. Unfortunately, I don't have releases on the ones to show you, so you're going to have to use a little bit of your imagination. So picture a completely normal panoramic X-ray in like a 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old patient. Everything erupted from 7 to 7, maybe the 8s aren't erupted, but everything's erupted, right? Except there's one tooth. One tooth, it's usually a premolar, you'll have the baby tooth, and then you'll have a permanent tooth that's just not fully formed. It looks like a nubbin. I call them nubbins. It's like a little ball, or it's a crown with a tiny bit of a root, but not even half of a root. And if you looked at this only, you'd think the patient was 6 or 7. But the one on the other side is fully erupted and there's no more baby teeth. So you've got a baby tooth and you've got a malformed permanent tooth underneath it. That is premolar root agenesis. So basically, in a nutshell, what it means is that for whatever reason, one of the permanent teeth just didn't fully form. It just stopped forming. Somewhere, it arrested development somewhere around age 6 or 7. Or it just went super slow. You know, if you see it at a younger age, when they're still in mixed dentition and you're looking at the pano and you're like, okay, well, one root is way more developed than the other, that's a red flag, but I'm not going to call it a problem yet. I'm just going to keep monitoring it. And sometimes it means we're going to delay ortho a little bit longer to see if it develops. Sometimes they're kind of wonky and uneven and one develops slower than the other, but it's definitely a red flag. But once you get to the point where the 7s are erupted, all the 5s and 4s are erupted, and then we have one nubbin on one side, it's not happening. So now there's 2 options, and I did a deep dive into the literature. There are some instances where people have pulled the baby tooth and done an exposure of the nubbin. Prognosis is not going to be too good because you're going to have almost no root, and even if you're probably going to have to get some type of endodont on it because it's not even sealed. And I'm not an endodontist, but I definitely would ask endo. And you probably can't even load it, and it's probably going to fall out anyways. I've never done that, but I saw some literature where you could do it. To me, I've done one of 2 things when I've seen these. Either we've gone in and we've pulled the nubbin out, and just left, and obviously a very skilled oral surgeon has to go in there and kind of extract it from around the roots of the the baby tooth. We want to save the baby tooth and try to pull it out of those little 3 roots that are in there, and that's a little tricky. Or we pull the whole thing out, which I'd rather not do, especially if we have the baby tooth and the permanent tooth, and then do an implant. But I'd rather keep the baby tooth, so at least we're maintaining the bone, assuming it's not ankylosed. Or we leave it, kind of stacked with a baby tooth and a nubbin tooth underneath it. The problem if you do that, then you probably can't really move any of the teeth in that area. I mean, you'd have to get a CBCT. It would definitely not be a braces case. In that case, I would definitely make it an Invis case. I would lock that whole area. And it doesn't mean, and move all the teeth around it. Now, you can't always do that. So it really depends on the case. So usually extracting delicately the nubbin is the best way to go. But that means that you're going to be delaying ortho. So a lot of times it's a wait and see, we'll take an X-ray and then we'll wait a year and we'll take another X-ray. And if it hasn't shown major progress, then we're going to go ahead and extract or do treatment and lock that area because we don't want to damage any other teeth around it by running teeth into the nubbin, if that makes sense. Or even just moving that baby tooth is going to run that baby tooth roots into the nubbin, which is going to cause root resorption and loss, which maybe isn't a big deal if you're considering doing that anyways, but I would definitely consult with a radiologist in that situation. I would consult with an oral surgeon. There's a lot of people you'd need to consult with in order to kind of figure out the prognosis of that case. But yeah, it's fairly common. So I call them nubbins. I heard much worse words in residency, which I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to get canceled. They're pretty bad. But yeah, it's called premolar root agenesis, and it happens. All right, thank you.